This is a story of the day I realized that we are living in a simulation, and this is also when I learned how to hack the matrix reality system we live in.
It was burgers and fries and cherry pies. It was simple and good back then. Walking in the sand, hand in hand, never thinking that it could end. It was burgers and fries and cherry pies in a world we used to know.
One weekend I went camping in the woods of North Carolina. I woke up early and I began preparing for a morning meditation with an intention to have an interesting experience. To begin with, I brewed some ceremonial mushroom tea. This was my special concoction that I have found to be very relaxing and that helps me get into a deep meditative state. The ingredients are all stuff I purchased on Amazon.com and are all legal to consume. I boiled some water and I added a mixture of Reishi Spores, lion's mane, and turkey tail mushrooms, along with a mixture of nutmeg, cinnamon, ginger, and turmeric to a cup. Finally, I added a teaspoon of Stevia to sweeten it and a dash of pink Himalayan salt. I sat there drinking my mushroom tea for a while, admiring the beauty of Mother Nature. After I drank the brew, I created a sacred space to meditate in. I recently purchased some Orgonite, or some call it Orgone, from an Etsy store called Orgonite Andy, and I also purchased a couple Orgonite pyramids from Amazon.com. I will put links in the description along with ingredients to my brew. Orgonite consists of metal shavings and tiny bits of quartz crystal encased in resin. Did you know that virtually all computer microprocessors and CPUs operate with quartz crystals? I found Orgonite to be extremely powerful. When I opened the shipping boxes a few weeks prior, I felt energy emanating from the Orgonite. At that time, I had placed the Orgonite around my bedroom, and while I was in my room, I had a ringing in my ears. Also, my dreams at nighttime were incredibly vivid and lucid. So back to the campsite. I created an Orgonite grid where I plan to meditate. Before meditation, I took some time to connect to nature. I made some ceremonial music with my congas. After that, I grounded myself to Mother Earth with a technique called earthing, which is standing on the ground with your bare feet. I always do a little bit of Qigong while I'm earthing. Qigong is a Chinese system of physical exercises and breathing control related to Tai Chi. I opened my YouTube app on my phone to listen to some shamanic meditation music that I had created a while ago. I will put a link in the description. I laid down on my cot and I held some amethyst, unakite, aventurine, and quartz crystals in my hand, and I placed a heart made of Orgonite that I received from Orgonite Andy on my crown chakra. At that point, and while I had been laying on my back looking up at the trees and the skies and listening to the meditation music, I set an intention to fall asleep, and I told myself to really notice when that began to happen. Moments had passed before I was aware that I was about to fall asleep. That's when I heard a very loud vibrating sound. I noticed that the sound was not coming from around me in the outside world, but it came from inside my head. My entire consciousness was erupting. It was so intense. Also, my body felt like it was vibrating at a rapid rate. It was at that moment that I broke through the veil of reality and my consciousness left my physical body. I felt myself hovering over my body and I was looking around the forest. Everything seemed recognizable but looked more like frequencies and vibrations. It also looked like some kind of computer code that I couldn't make out. I believed that I was looking at the Matrix right in front of me and all around me. In fact, I was convinced that I was seeing the Matrix world as it truly was. I realized that my physical body, the trees, plants, squirrels, and birds were actually computer-coded frequencies and vibrations. I noticed my body lying on the cot below, and it dawned on me that my body was like a spacesuit or some kind of robot. That's when I realized that my true self, my consciousness, had somehow been implanted into that digital spacesuit, and there must have been some extremely higher power that created this highly advanced computer reality for my computer spacesuit body to play in. And that same power had inserted my consciousness into that spacesuit to give it life. For several moments I just floated there hanging out. At one point there was a wave that washed over me. It was a sense of incredible peace and a sense that everything was going to be okay. I had a deep knowing that this was just some kind of highly advanced computer game that I was playing in. And I was playing in it like the online virtual game Second Life, where you pick your character and how you look, you choose the clothes you wear, the vehicle you drive, and so on. You choose your friends and the city or town you live in. Then it dawned on me that my life on Earth was not as real as I had previously thought, and that all my friends and family think this is so real, and that this is it, the real deal, man. This is when I realized that we are just living for the moment and that every moment counts here on Earth. I noticed things about myself and my life up to that moment that I did not like, and it came to my attention that I had total control to change the negative things in my life and play the game differently. So I took a few moments to set some intentions for my future life. After that, I began replacing different positive code for my current reality code. I was able to rearrange the code of my reality to change my life on this planet. I hacked the Matrix reality system we live in and changed my future timeline. I'd been floating around for a while staring at everything in utter amazement. It was a beautiful sight to behold. After a while had passed, I had this really intense feeling of being sucked back into my body. And the very next thing that happened was I woke from my trance. After awakening, I was feeling kind of tripped out, and I wondered to myself, did that really just happen and how could that be? Nevertheless, I had a deep knowing inside myself that it really happened. During the experience, I had no sense of time. It seemed like time did not really exist. The very next day, I had packed my camping gear away, and I returned to my empty sacred campsite. I had a deep feeling that what really mattered in life was to help one another out in any way that I could. But I had a bigger feeling that the most important thing I could do here on Earth is to help other humans awaken to the truth and help them realize for themselves that their true selves is something eternal and divine. What I took from this experience is that we humans live in some kind of highly advanced computer program, and we seem to interact with everything in the coded physical world with our spacesuits made of frequencies and codes. And that somehow and somewhere something greater than we humans created and programmed this whole reality system we live in and inserted our consciousness into our bodies that go about this reality. And I also realized from this experience that there is much, much more beyond this computer world. Our true selves are separate from this matrix. It is our souls or our consciousness that can travel beyond this matrix reality system into higher dimensions. Lastly, I realized that our consciousness is our true essence at a core level, and we really exist forever and ever and whatever is beyond that. To conclude, there was no doubt in my mind that I still had a lot more to learn about reality and this highly sophisticated simulated computer world we live in called the Matrix.